Welcome to Wrestling with Heart, a podcast looking at pro wrestlers giving back to their community. Join me, Stanley Carr, as I interview wrestling's hottest names who use their platforms as entertainers to raise awareness and do community service. Hello and welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Heart. This is the show where we talk with professional wrestlers and professional wrestling personalities about their lives in and outside of the ring, as well as doing acts of charity work, community service, volunteering, and spreading positivity. We're all about the positivity here on the show, and with me right now, I've got a very special guest. He is a former WCW Cruiserweight Tag Team Champion, and I'm very happy to talk with him. I'm pleased to welcome the one, the only, Kid Romeo. Welcome to Wrestling with Heart.
What's up, Kid Romeo in the house, man? What's going on, man?
Yeah, thank you for coming.
I'm glad we finally got this going here. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
It is all good. So let's get started here. Where are you from?
Me, I'm originally from New York, but I lived in Puerto Rico when I was little for a little bit, and
Okay.
That's where I was introduced to wrestling.
Puerto Rico, that's a very historic territory. You know, lots of people came through there. I'm talking about people like the Colones and so many other people. What was it about wrestling that just got you hooked?
Oh man, I used to watch it with my great grandmother. With my great grandmother, not many people get to say that they watch that and stuff. And yeah, back at that time, everything was real, so she would just sit there in front of the TV, going nuts and stuff like that. And I used to love it and stuff, and just stay up for the weekend just to be able to see it and stuff like that. So that was kind of where it started, watching it and stuff like that. Yeah, like we used to watch like Abdullah the Butcher and the Invaders and those things. Those were my first of wrestling because of the age that I was, and I was living there, so I was like 7 years old. So
Yeah, I mean, were you a big fan of the good guys? Were you a fan of the heels? Who were your favorites growing up?
favorites. I would say I would get into the favorites once really like cable hit the island for those years that I was there, and then the NWA came on. I used to really like Tommy Wildfire Rich.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, those guys, JYD, Ric Flair, Four Horsemen, Arn. He's one of my mentors. He was. I used to be on the road. I used to go on the road with him from town to town, occasionally here and there. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, was there like a part of you that was like at a young age, I've got to do this, find some way to break in the industry, break in the business?
Honestly, I never thought about becoming a wrestler until I was like maybe 20. I always liked it. I just didn't think that I was able to before everything that were like all big dudes. So you never picture like a smaller guy, even if you're built or whatever. But you remember, you see how the sport has transitioned or was starting to transition back when I was in it and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
So just I was lucky, I guess, and I just got my foot in the door and was able to do something.
What age did you start training
for wrestling?
Yes.
28 to 29.
Okay. All right.
At the Powerplant, at the original Powerplant.
Okay.
The original one, and then they went to the new one where they had the offices, and we had like 4 rings, and we had all the up to the date workout, and we had the warehouse with all the gear and everything in there.
Yeah, I had Alan Funk on the show. He was telling me about what it was like to train there. I mean, it was very intense from all accounts from what I heard.
It was the first one that I parted in and everything. That's where I did my tryout and stuff like that. And that was over there. It was brutal at the time and stuff like that. Once we came over to the new one and stuff, it wasn't so bad. It all depended on Paul on the day, how Paul woke up. I'm talking about Orndorff. It all depends how he woke up. If he woke up on a bad day, it was going to be a bad day for us. If he woke up on a good day, it'd be a good day for us.
Hmm. Well, what was he like to be around just in general?
He was a lot of fun. He was definitely a character and stuff like that. But he was very serious and stuff like that. Like we would have like really good shows that we were told that we did really good and everything, and we felt we did good and stuff. But then we'll get back to the power plant, and like that was the shit. That was an embarrassment and stuff like that. And then we started doing squats and stuff like that. I think that was just his way now as a grown ass man. I not a kid anymore, right? I can maybe that was his way of tough love, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you basically,
Don't get too relaxed and stuff like that. Just I guess motivating us.
yeah, I mean, that was kind of your way of like, it's time to grow up. Let's get you started. Let's get you going. I mean, professional wrestling, you got to take your craft seriously. And for you, it seems like you were able to do that.
Yeah, back in the day, we still did, even though it was known in the early 2000s and stuff like that, but we try to take it like serious. Like if you watch my matches, there's not I never did a lot of hokey stuff, like a lot of like 50 kicks or 50 punches that look like poo. I'm like, come on, like seriously. I mean, we all know it's that and everything, but let's make the art look good.
Hmm.
Like say like Randy Orton, see how he throws those punches and his kicks. Ideal. One at a time, make them count and stuff like that. And
It's the suspense of disbelief. And you
yes,
made a
yes.
good point about something. I've talked about this on the show with several other people. The differences between pro wrestling in the States and in Japan, the United States and Japan, it's contrast. I mean, two totally different styles. I mean, over here it's showmanship, it's entertainment, but in Japan they treat it like a sport. It's very night and day.
It is a lot of honor, a lot of respect, and it's very stiff. I like it.
When you went to WCW, you did your training. Tell me about your first few matches with the company. What can you tell me about your first few matches in WCW during that time?
Man, my first two matches were against Alan Funk, and I had it good in WCW. I mean, I did, and I was just at the right place at the wrong time. Meaning, literally, like I was like a day short. You know what I'm saying? I needed to get there like a few years early and stuff, and things might have turned around and stuff for the time frame and everything and stuff like that when they took over and everything. How like all the like mid card or all the like that suffered like the it's WCW, and they only kind of went with like the big like Steiner and Booker T and whatever. But it was obvious when they came in the room and stuff like that who they went around and shook hands with, and who they walked by and just said, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Hey, oh, okay, see you."
Well, WCW had a really good cruiserweight division. You had Rey Mysterio there, you had Chavo there, Billy Kidman, Gregory Helms, just a lot of really good talent. And you were one of those talents that really shined through during that time.
I was, they did have big plans for me and stuff like that. But like I said, everything came to a halt when I was finally getting my the major push, and then when they took over like that, they already changed. They immediately changed and took the titles the way we were supposed to keep them, and
Wow.
we didn't know who was going to get. And all of a sudden, we knew who got us, and then all of a sudden, like 5 minutes before the match comes over, they come and they change the finish on us and stuff, and we're like, Okay, all right. And then after the match, Shane came in the room and just went around and shook some hands. Some other ones just say, "What's up?"
That's devastating, when you're told you're winning a championship and then they just, change plans like just like that. I mean, you put in the work and it must have hurt really bad.
It did. But I mean, on the other hand, made history. It's in the record books. I beat a Hall of Famer for it at a time that I was right there. They wanted me right there with him at that point. And then once WCW closed, just everything else, didn't really fall the same way.
Were there plans for you to go to WWE? And because I know they had picked up a lot of talent from WCW after they had shut down.
No, I was picked up by them.
You
I was
were,
picked up
okay.
by them for a year, a little over a year, and I did one dark match against Este Rios at the Georgia Dome, and this is when he was having like a feud with Kurt Angle. And if you look at that match, it's a really good match. And actually, I put all of it together for it, and that's a little bit unusual because I wasn't like my mind wasn't like a genius wrestling mind. I was more an entertainer, and I had my tricks and stuff, but I just know how to work the crowd and get a reaction. I always got a reaction one way or another and stuff like that. They didn't have to go, over crazy doing tricks and stuff like that for people to clap. I think it's better if you could just do it on your personality and stuff. I mean, that means that you really got the fans over. You don't have to do a triple backflip. If you slip, you break your neck to get the people to pop for you.
Yeah, you have to be, pick and choose what kind of moves you want to do. It's good to work safe at times when things, you don't always have
Yeah,
to do the high spots.
work the character and stuff like that. That's what they used to teach us. Is
Hmm.
work your character.
Were there plans to utilize you on the main roster on the Raw or SmackDown? Did you have any conversations with Vince
On
McMahon or?
No, I never got that far. I had one meeting with Jim Ross, and everything seemed positive and everything. But then um when everything happened and stuff, we were sent to OVW. So they kept like the big guys at that time. They kept like they let Gingerack, Colombo, Stasiak, because back then it really was more the big guys. They didn't really want the small ones. And then Ray was the first one, and that was after a while when the contract ran out and everything. And the stipulation was he had to put on back the mask because the mask is really essentially what's made that whole character. Without it, it wouldn't have been so.
I'd,
Yeah,
ima- I'd imagine a Kid Romeo Rey Mysterio feud would have done really well in WWE.
yeah, we were just starting it and stuff like that. But like I was saying, like the match with Essa Rios was really good and stuff like that. But sometimes I look at it and stuff, and I think I might have done too much as a nobody for WWE, unless you're like a real wrestling fan. If you were just like a WD fan, you might have not known who I was. But you look at it in the thing, I was getting reactions. And when you see like other guys that just feed to somebody else, and it was a fairly competitive back and forth match. I don't know if I always thinking, I'm like, man, did I overdo it and stuff like that? Because I just know how to be myself and just be a character. I know that I did things like being my character, my six shooter, and praise the crowd and got boos and stuff and got reactions and stuff. So, but they told me I did a good job when I got back there, but that doesn't mean nothing. I got sent to the minor leagues, and we had a really good match. If you have one time, look it up. Ese Rios against Kid Romeo.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll absolutely check it out. You had mentioned being in OVW. What was that experience like?
not good for me. I
Really?
hated it. Yeah, hated it. Cincinnati was awful. The place that the train was awful. The place that had the matches was terrible. And we're coming from the power plant, so we're training at a nice place, and then they send us to Les Thatcher School. That was kind of lame.
Yeah. OVW was actually in Louisville, Kentucky. You're thinking about Heartland Wrestling Association. That was the school that Les ran. But
Yes,
yes,
I was over there, but we would drive over to Kentucky to do the shows at some brick building that when you used to drive in there, the place looked abandoned,
mm,
and it was like a building in the abandoned place and stuff like that. It was definitely something different when you break in and you're already starting to get used to like stadiums and all that stuff, and then you're back into the grind, I guess, if you will.
and did you choose to leave on your own, and then did you
No,
wrestle?
I was released by WWE,
Okay.
and then I made a call to TNA, and then I started going to TNA for a while, and then things got all sideways and political and stuff like that, and then I was starting to get pretty jobbed out over there, really heading nowhere. So
Wow. I mean, you gave it your all. You worked very hard and you did everything that you could to get to the path where you needed to go, and you worked very hard, did what you needed to do, and you still are a champion. So that's got to count for something.
yeah, of course, man. I don't sour grapes here, man. I'm grateful for the opportunity I had, for the people that I hung out with. I mean, I did make history. It's in the history books there.
Hmm.
So it's all good. It was a good experience. I have a lot of stories.
And you wrestled in Japan too, right?
Yeah, I was over there. Funny, I was there for Super J Cup number 7. They came to the power plant to pick guys, and I was the only one they picked.
Wow.
Yeah, so I went over there and stuff, and I was very, very, very green, and it's crazy. You know who I had a match with? I had a match with Jushin Thunder Liger,
Okay.
and he didn't want to basically we call nothing. I was like, I was so scared. I'm green and I had no direction, everything. I think just like the finish, and that's it. It was of course, a brain buster. But I said, okay. I just started doing stuff, and he like this and dropped down, and I just kick him and drop kick him. He fell for me and this that, and then I slam him and I said, "Stay." When I jump, the bitch move. So it was interesting, man. It was definitely interesting over there, with definitely nervous and everything, but the show has to go on. I
Yeah.
just I had no idea. I was green. I was green as hell. I had no idea, but it worked out. It was a good match.
Yeah, I mean, you pulled through, and working with Jushin, man, that's a legend. So that's a feather in your cap to be able to work
That's
with
like the
someone of his
original.
caliber.
That's like really like the one of the original icons of cruiserweight,
Mm-hmm.
like a big cruiserweight.
Yeah. Is it fair to say that Jushin was one of your favorite opponents?
Legendary, yeah. I got to wrestle him and Mysterio. That's those are two feathers right there that I'm glad I get under my cap. I did get to wrestle Eddie, and Eddie was a really good personal friend of mine. Like for real, like we'd be on the road and stuff, and um, we're very very good friends. Um, but I got to wrestle him in OVW. and the match is there. It was in a tag team match. Um, it was crazy. They split me and Elix up. It was like Eddie and Elix against me and somebody else, I think, some shit like that. I'm like, why would they do stuff like that?
Sometimes sometimes it is what it is. Got to move forward.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, all right. So let's switch gears now and talk about the stuff you've done outside of wrestling. I know you've done a lot of charity work throughout your career. Tell me about some of the organizations you partnered up with or things that you've done to help out in your community.
Well, right now I own a pest control and wildlife removal company in Orlando here. It's called Commando Pest Control and Trappers. And that's what I've been doing since I stopped wrestling. Yeah.
Really?
And it's pretty good. It's pretty gets your adrenaline going after venomous snakes and angry raccoons up in the attic, wrangling them and getting them out and stuff like that. So it's a pretty good business and stuff. So I do pretty decent. You know, a lot of other wrestlers haven't had a good story. I'm still alive. Still alive at 55. That's pretty darn good for a wrestler.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so I just, for the last almost 10 years, I just go you know, down about 3 to 5 times a year at least, and just break down food and clothing that I have that I don't use and stuff, and I'll get it from my clients and stuff, and just hand it out and stuff. It's just the right thing to do. You know,
Yeah.
God gave me another break after wrestling and stuff where I had no future. I wasn't no college degree, brainiac. Everything just kind of this business worked out well for me. I picked it up somehow.
Any of your clients recognize you
Oh yeah,
as a
that
wrestler?
was the worst. That was the worst part when I first started. So I was really weak at that point, really green, obviously in this business too. So the uniform and everything's now I got a really nice truck. It's really nice detail. The uniform, the whole works. When when you're driving down the road, it commands attention. People are always coming up to you and asking you for your card and everything, just by the ensemble. And then, of course, on the back two ends and the tailgate, I got a picture of me with a championship belt. And it says former WCW, TNA, WWE tag team champion, Kid Romeo. So if you didn't know, now you know.
Yes, that's got to feel good. I mean,
The saying everything. It's just a marketing ploy and stuff, and it still works because the people that really know you just by the shit they say, and the ones that, oh, I know you, they're just talking blah. But it's all good and everything because it still relates to I make business on the conversation.
was there a particular time when you were helping somebody with a problem in the house with getting a rodent or an insect or even something that you've done like giving food to someone? Was there like a moment that really just touched your heart with helping someone out that
Mm,
sticks out in your mind?
yeah, a couple times when I was out just giving out food and stuff like that. Some of the people online, they might have a substance abuse problem or something like that, and they get a little bit rude, if you will, and stuff like that. Like a lot of those people that are homeless, like how they step in and they're basically telling them to shut the hell up. This guy's here. He doesn't have to be here. And he's giving his time, giving us food and stuff, and you're gonna give him shit like that. Don't do that shit. I'll cut you. Like that, seriously, like that. So it's pretty rewarding when they kind of stick up for you like that.
Yeah, definitely. Why do you feel passionate about giving back to your community?
um it's the right thing to do. I mean, if you're doing it right, you got to do a little something for somebody else. So that's just my avenue of what I can give back.
Definitely hitting the nail on the head there. Well, this has been wonderful getting the chance to speak with you, and I want to say thank you for coming on the show. It means a lot to me and to my listeners and viewers that are watching this on YouTube. Where can people find more about you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me at on Instagram at Kid Romeo WCW, and on Facebook as Sam Roman.
All right. Well, thanks again, and you're more than welcome to come back.
It's on Instagram. It's Kid Romeo hashtag WCW. There you go. That's my
All right.
Instagram. So
All right, there we go.
if you want to talk about some other stuff, I got plenty of stories.
Yeah, yeah.
You didn't see that though. There you go. There's the ring.
When did,
WCW Hall of Fame power plant.
when did you get that?
I've had this for about 2 years.
Did they
Yeah,
do like a special ceremony?
yeah, it was during a pandemic and stuff like that. So it was kind of like people got together, they made a list and stuff like that, and everyone was kind of like but last like 2 years, 3 years it was inducted and stuff like that. So then you gotta have the ring made and stuff, and then they send it to you. Alan's got one and stuff. Dale Torborg has one. Elex has one. Yeah.
Very
You
awesome.
you didn't know about it?
No, I didn't. I never knew about that.
Yeah, it says where the big boys train, which was that was the logo, and then I had here Romeo on the side, and then the WCW.
Wow. I mean, I know about the rings at the WWE Hall of Fame, but I've never seen anything like that before. That's really awesome that they did that.
Yeah, no, it's not a WWE Hall of Fame, but it's something.
Yeah,
It's
because
something.
WCW was around for so long. I mean, dating back to the NWA and the Jim Crockett Promotions years. So yeah, definitely a great acknowledgement of the hard work and contributions that you guys made to the business. I mean, that's a testament.
Yeah, it's people like it when they see it. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Well, thanks again. And again, I'm always happy to have you back on.
all right, buddy.
I
You
take
have a good
care.
one, man. Peace,
All right.
everybody. All
You
right.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This is Wrestling with Heart. I hope you found this podcast to be informative and entertaining. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and look out for the next edition.